One, two, one, two. Pat, how are you? Very good. Um, 1 second now to get my Clive, baby. Can you hear me okay? First problem. Can you hear me
Kevin,
okay,
sir.
Clive?
Of course again.
Okay, very good. All right.
Yes.
Thanks for coming along. So
I was tr
I'll keep an eye on
I
the
was
attendees as they land in there. Okay, so Kevin Barry here and Clive. Thanks for everyone who's registered. So this is going to be a zippy down to business webinar. We're from QuickWorks. We're both independent accountants who do work together, and we specialize completely in the QuickBooks accounting program. So I'm going to do a very short intro on what we do. The biggest problem we find, and this is, I think we're both united on this one, is that most people buy the program QuickBooks, set it up, get going on it, and when they do run into someone like us to say, "Can you help me run it?" It's all set up wrong from the start, and it's a big cleanup job that need not have happened in the first place. So we're going to concentrate on the 10 essential, they're quick, they're sharp items, and then I'm going to show you where they are. Okay? So is that fair enough, Clive? Have you any thoughts?
That sounds brilliant, guys. Just to let you know, our chat is currently not switched on. We will have it switched on for next time. But if you have any questions, please leave those questions in the Q&A section on the webinar. But we will keep an eye on those questions coming in and answer them as we go along. So if you want to interact with us, just use the Q&A rather than the chat for today, please.
Okay, very good. So Clive, can you see the online setup? Make sure I've got my
Yes,
control line, okay? All right.
absolutely.
Okay, we'll be off this by 1:45. Okay, so we'll keep belting away. First thing I want to say is, just in case anyone's buying QuickBooks, right? There's always offers on our website, quickworks.ie. There's 6 months support from us. Keep an eye on that. Those prices, we get a better deal than QuickBooks give the general public, so that we can offer you or your clients that if you've bought it, you can still switch in and you still get all the offers going. Just throwing it out there. Okay. Clive, I was reading yours very quickly. I was reading Clive's CV. He's won all these awards. I don't know why he's won them. I don't know, and I've won none. So explain that, please, Clive.
I'm very good friends. Well, no, I'm not really good friends with Donald Trump, but I believe he can throw a Trump card in there every now and again and make things happen.
Oh,
Supposedly,
okay.
do 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 do.
All right,
Um,
I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I don't need to hear any more. Okay,
good luck.
that's it. All right. Okay, so the 10 steps. So for anyone here who's an accountant or a bookkeeper, these are the 10 steps you need to be going over, and I'll show you where they are on QuickBooks afterwards. So you'll be guiding me through that. Now, the reason for this is avoiding heart attacks. Um, it breaks my heart when people come in and say, "I've got the books and records." We here grade people on the quality of their records, and it helps us price the jobs. But if it's disorganized, that's the look that we have when we see it. If it's organized, we have the opposite of that. So it's about that. Clive, chart of accounts. What's your thoughts? This is number one every time.
Yeah. Of the projects that we do, we tend to do a lot of rework on the chart of accounts. There's not a lot of consideration given into what should be the makeup of your chart of accounts, as in what you want to see in your profit and loss. Do you want to look at divisions or categories or classes? What is the most important numbers in your business you want to see? And over time, people just get, pulled into adding whatever they want to add in there. without giving it real consideration or thought. So I think chart of accounts got to be one of the most important areas you got to start with, and just don't jump into it.
Okay. And just from my point of view, the chart of accounts is a map of the accounts, asset liabilities, income and expense. I'm going to show you where it is when we finish running through these 10 points, just to guide you straight in on it, okay? But it's the one thing. There's duplication, there's omission, there's misspellings, and all of that. You don't want any of them, okay? So,
But
very
but
good.
I find like for example with the chart of accounts options within QuickBooks, you can have subcategories. You can now lock the parent accounts so you can't post into them. Those subcategories can go 4 levels deep, which is great. For example, if you want to create a department as department costs or cost centers as your parent accountant and have subcategories in there. There's so much you can do, but just it's so frustrating sometimes when you see a lot of duplicates or not a lot of thought given into it that it could do so much better. And there's something nice about having a good looking set of chart of accounts, as you said, it's a map. But yep, it should be your starting point. That's my that's my that's my bit there.
Okay. Well, actually, while we're there, actually, no, I won't. I won't share yet. We'll come back to that bit. So the chart of accounts is the big one. Bank feeds. I'll take this one. Um, just so we're very clear about this one, QuickBooks cannot move your bank money around. It doesn't go into the client's. The biggest protest we find is I don't want to connect my bank account up to that because I don't want to be able to access my money, see my bank account, all of this. Um, there's a few things on this one. Some owners do not want the staff to see what they've got in the bank. That's fair enough. That's permission area. That can be handled on that. But join up the bank account to your QuickBooks. It puts the information in there automatically. There's programming, okay, you can learn about that. But effectively, when it's set up correctly, the accounts will build themselves. We find about 80% automatic. You don't have to be telling it what to do. The other 20% is down to items it's not used to seeing, and how you handle that will be down to how experienced you are. But I think Bank of Ireland is the only one who kind of breaks our heart. Is that fair enough? Do you want to explain,
Yeah,
Clive?
Bank of Ireland is an interesting one. Yeah, especially the guys here on Bank of Ireland Business Online Banking, the paid version, the business version. There's a little nuance in there that you need to be aware of that you have to log in as the administrator, and then you have to go into user groups, and then you have to go down to permissions and third party access and switch it on. It's the only bank in the country that doesn't have by default third party access switched on. It's like, what day and age is this all together? Yeah,
Different office
we
now.
find that. Um, I also find
I'm trying
permanent.
to stay awake, Clive, when you say that. Is it really that tough?
Uh, Not for you and me, but for other people who get frustrated with it is, and it's one of those simple wins that we have time and time again. So it's if you know, you know, sort of a case.
Yeah, no, Clive's right. It's disaster dealing with the Bank of Ireland. No problem with the online banking itself. That works fine. Just this third party permissions, it's literally gonna be like your man from Raiders of the Lost Ark to go find it. And when it's found, it's there. So stick with it. Find that one out, and
Yeah,
if
well, if
that's
we
what.
could throw another nuance in there why Bank of Ireland are so crap. If you have a Bank of Ireland credit card, right, you can't use the BOL product. You have to then use the 365 online option to connect the Bank of Ireland credit card into QuickBooks. So I don't know, Bank of Ireland, get your get your shit together.
God love them. Okay. Number three, VAT settings and VAT rates. I'm going to show you where all these items are in a few moments. Okay. So I'll take that one. There are, God, I didn't count them lately. There's about 20 different VAT rates that are there. And of them, you don't need them all. Okay. So the story with them is you go in and you just choose the literally six or seven you may need. The six or seven you may need, you keep them visible. You're not getting tangled when you're entering purchase bills or sales invoices as to which VAT rate you use. You just go with the six you need. The ones you don't need, you make them inactive. I'll show you where it is, and then that'll be fine. The other thing on top of that is be very clear on whether you're the accrual or the cash basis of VAT accounting. The difference is simple. Cash basis means you can claim VAT on the bills that come at you, whether you've paid them or not, but you only pay VAT on sales invoices that you've sent out if you've been paid. Accrual, you pay VAT on the sales invoices, whether you're paid or not. Now, it's generally down to the level of turnover and all of that, but just check it, make sure you're on the right basis. The automatic way QuickBooks gets set up is the accrual basis, which for 90% of Irish business is the one they're not going to be on. So you need to change that. The other thing, and it's not fixed yet, Clive, by the way, is if you by mistake set yourself up on the wrong VAT and then switch yourself to the right VAT, they're items you've already paid VAT on, incredibly, are coming through and you pay VAT on them twice.
Yeah.
Now we're trying to get QuickBooks to fix it for months. A good relationship is getting a bit strained at the moment, but they are on the case, they assure me, but it hasn't happened. So just pointing that one out while we're here. So
Yeah, if you
there's
don't mind me just adding a quick nod, if you're on an older version of QuickBooks Online pre-June 2020 when the Irish one came in, or you're on the UK version, it's going to be very difficult to do your VAT returns on QuickBooks on that, global version or the UK. So take an opportunity to jump across and move to the Irish version. Your VAT returns will go a lot smoother.
good man. Good man. Okay, we're going to move to number four now. Okay, over to you, Clive. This is a nice one. We'll be showing it in a moment.
Yeah, the invoice and do a new invoice and layout and options create a professionally looking branded templated sales invoice. I personally don't get too hung up in the look and the feel of a sales invoice. Anyone processing the data is just interested in getting the numbers in there. But it's nice at the end of the day to still have the option to put that in. So you take your logo, you upload it, and it's very clever. It'll take the colors from your logo and then create the rest of the invoice in the same color. It's pretty cool if you're into that sort of thing. Uh, Me, I don't get overly excited, but you can still put other options in there, such as messages, put in your bank details, make it easy for whoever's getting the sales invoice to pay ultimately. And the nice thing about QuickBooks is you can keep a track if those sales invoices have been emailed, received, and viewed. So you can keep a track when you're chasing payment and they want to know if they're ready to pay or not, and they give you the excuse that we haven't received it. You can actually see if they've received the email or not. So yeah, it's a pretty good feature.
Okay, just on that feature, WhatsApp. Have you ever used the WhatsApp feature on it? I have. Just wondering if you.
Yeah, actually, it's amazing. You end up using things like WhatsApp, send by WhatsApp, without even realizing you're using it anymore. That's really cool, especially if you're in construction or trades, especially the trades lads, and they do up an invoice on their mobile phone, and then it says send, and you can send it WhatsApp, and people get their invoices through WhatsApp. They love it. They absolutely love it. It's a great feature to have in QuickBooks.
It is, yeah, and it's one to pay a bit of, an extra 30 minutes getting right. And in addition to that, the small money, you know, 40 quids, 50 quids that there might be flying around there. If you send a WhatsApp invoice, it gets it in. You won't get it in with an email or with a letter or anything. So that's a big one, okay? Okay, then our next one, um, products and services. I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So products and services. It's all down to the type of business you're in. Um, just talk about that for a minute. Are you the service business? Are you selling goods? So people buy QuickBooks off the shelf, they race out, they set up their sales invoice, they have their name on it, they download the app, they can log in, there's graphs everywhere, they connect the bank even perhaps, and everything's going great. But when it goes to sending the invoice, they can't work out how to put whatever they're selling on there. So let's just say it's a service, let's just say it's a builder or a shop. How do you type it in? And even when you type it in, choosing the VAT and choosing the number. But so if you're a service business, there's a way to set up the service you're selling. Let's just say it's consultations. Let's just say it's, supply and fit. Let's just say it's a total of the till read at the end of the day. Whatever it is to take the time to set that up. And when you press a button, so you click invoice or sales receipt, you'll be pressing a button and it should, if it's the till receipt for the day, Z reading gives a total, whatever, inclusive or exclusive of VAT, whatever works for you. That should end up directly in your profit and loss account. Little bit of mapping there. Now, that's one that you may need to kind of look into to make sure you're setting it up right. But products and services, I'll be showing you in a minute where that is. And it takes time, you know? And now the funny thing is, if you mismap, just while we're on that point, so say, crikey, I put it all into a balance sheet account, it's all over the place. When you're fixing it, there's a box you can tick that will move all the historical stuff that you've put into the wrong place. It'll move it all into the right place. You prefer it didn't happen in the first place because if it goes too far, people might be looking at their bottom line thinking I'm losing a rake of money or I'm making a rake of money because everything is mapped wrong. You know, it depends on what the view is. We've often seen the sales on the, the wrong side, on the debit side instead of the credit even, or it goes on and on anyway. But the whole setting up of the mapping is very important and it comes down to when you're setting up your products and services. That's why I wrote down what are you selling? If that was the caption that was there, it might be easier to find. And it's kind of hidden away a bit. So I'll show you what that is in a moment, okay?
If I could just jump in and add, the products and services module in QuickBooks is actually quite powerful for what price point that you're paying for. Um, the ability to in QuickBooks to track stock or stock units and use a FIFO method is very useful, especially if you're in a wholesale or a retail business where you're buying a box and selling the box, or even e-commerce in that fact. But they've introduced additional features like revenue recognition. So if you're in the software or services business and you sell an annual fee, you can automatically get QuickBooks to split that annual fee out each month over a 12-month period. Um, what else? You can now receive orders without receiving the supplier bill, and it increases the quantity. And we had a case there yesterday. Somebody is integrating a new MRP system. It's going to be doing it on an average costing basis, and the concern was how far back is the averaging calculation working? At least with QuickBooks and FIFO, first in, first out, you're getting very accurate profit margin measurements on each product or each unit that you sell. So you know, don't think of it as just as a bookkeeping opportunity. See it as another opportunity to dive deeper into your numbers and see how much money you're making on each product that you're selling.
Okay, I've got a question in here. It's from someone called Kevin Barry. Okay, but you said revenue recognition. Is that how you recognize someone from the tax office from a distance?
To boom. I'll give you that one, Kevin. Jeez.
Or is it when they put the jackets on and walk over towards you? Okay.
Uh, yeah, that's going up on TikTok later on. What is revenue recognition? It's when you can see the revenue coming a mile away. All right, okay.
And the second one on just for the people, who are just trying to run a business and they're not um having all the international awards on their back like you do. MRP system. Explain that jargon because I nearly fell asleep when I heard that. So, oh
Uh,
my God, I'm in the wrong place.
yeah, I think you've had too much sun this week, Kevin. MRP system is a material requirement planning system. Basically, what it tries to do is plan how much material or stock you need in the business in order to meet the demand of our selling that's happening in the business. So it's just a fancy way to keep an eye on what stock levels you currently have, what stock levels you're going to need, and what stock levels you're selling. QuickBooks kind of is a light version of that that people are definitely not utilizing and spending big money on these MRP systems. Like QuickBooks for 70 quid a week or a month versus an MRP for €500 a month. Try the QuickBooks version first before deciding to upgrade.
Okay. Geez, I learned an awful lot there. You should be selling tickets for this. You should be full time in QuickBooks. Do you know
I, I'm so surprised you didn't fall asleep in that. I just thought I'd wake you up from your afternoon nap.
that? Okay, very good. All right. Next up, I'll let you. This is your favorite.
Yeah, guys, the receipt capture in QuickBooks is just dreadful. It's got worse as well. You can't even batch anymore. It's shocking, right? So, guys, it's great that it's there. It's free. People are struggling with it. People don't want to pay €30 a month for Dex. We highly recommend using Dex. I use it in my business. I know Kevin does in his as well. 30 quid a month bought through a partner like ourselves means you get unlimited uploads and you get the top class kind of leading industry leading OCR AI. You got all the tools and all the bells and whistles that you need to make your life a lot easier. Process hundreds of transactions within an hour, an hour and a half at most. So long as you get it set up right at the start, it's a breeze. It's absolutely a breeze. And the supplier statement reconciliation feature in there is amazing. Just upload those supplier statements and automatically it does a two-way match, unlike auto entry that does a one-way match. So with Dex, it looks at what's in QuickBooks and in Dex, as where auto entry only looks like what you put through auto entry and doesn't look at QuickBooks. Okay. So yeah, biggest efficiency gains you can get is through Dex.
Yeah, so don't use the receipt capture thing on QuickBooks. Waste of time. Okay.
Yeah.
We've asked them to
And
fix it. Ain't
just
happened yet.
just when we're there, John Malloy's jumped in there with a really good question. Have you compared Dex to auto entry and HubDoc, and what's your feedback, please? Right, lovely, John. Thank you very much for the question. So Dex and auto entry are very, very level par. The only difference is the supplier statement reconciliation. I like the two-way match. So if you put all your invoices into QuickBooks directly, Dex can see the invoices on the ledger. Auto entry can't. The other thing is auto entry works on a credit system, as where Dex works on a fee. If you buy through us, there's a fixed fee, gives you unlimited uploads. If you buy through auto entry, you buy per whatever credits you need. HubDoc is free. It's actually fairly good. Works really good with Zero and not so good with QuickBooks. I like its supplier folder structure. So all the supplier invoices go into a subfolder on the left-hand side in HubDoc. It's okay, but it doesn't have the statement reconciliation feature. It doesn't have the AI assist. Actually, the new AI assist feature in Dex is incredible. Speak to it, give it instructions. We use it with our construction companies to identify customer projects on an invoice, which is very, very sharp at doing. You can give it instructions in normal language. So for me, yes, Dex is more expensive, but it has a lot more offering in there. So hopefully, John, that helps to answer the question.
Okay, very good. Jeez, I thought I was gonna have to mute you there for a minute. Um, Dex is great. Yeah, just go with Dex. Okay. Auto entry and all those super as well, but do not rely on QuickBooks for the moment. All right, so next one. I'll go with this one. Just the reports you need. Okay. I'll show you in a moment where they are. There's tons. There's one for everyone in the audience type thing. But decide yourself what you need to know. Whether, we like the term break even point. So if no one walks in the door, how much is your business costing you to run? Okay. And then to cover that, how much you have to sell. So that I'll make this up. If it was costing you 10,000 a week to run your business, and you sold nothing, you're down 10,000. But to cover that 10,000 a week, you might have to sell 20,000 worth of services or goods. So then your break even point from a sales point of view would be 20,000. And once you go over that, you're making money. And in that break even point, the first person that goes down on it is yourself. Make sure that you're paying yourself and then you're adding in everybody else and you're adding in, yourself, rent rates, etc., etc. It goes on and on. But there should be targets, at least, without having to delve in. So when you're designing reports, it could be, for instance, sales this week to date. Be aware if they're inclusive or exclusive of VAT. Be aware of, compared to last week, might want to be on it, and just be able to get it. Now, QuickBooks can email them to you. It's weird at the times they come in, but weekly, daily, and all this. When I say weird, the times they come in, it's set up, I think, on Western American Pacific time. And no matter what you do on this side of the water, it'll come in like at 2 in the morning. So don't have notifications on your phone and the phone beside your bed or under your pillow. And then you'll be fine. Because I used to get people calling me, don't be emailing them in the middle of the night. So but it is great. Just look at that big long list. I'll show you what they are in a moment. You put a green dot beside the ones you want, they'll be at the top. Four max tends to do the job. And then when you want something bigger than that, you can go get them. But the routine ones, whether it's what you're owed what's in the bank, what you owe the VAT man, the key figures you need to know. Just be aware of where they are. Okay. All right, Clive, we're going to hit you on the next one. Good old access.
Uh, yeah, user access is really important. They are getting better at the level of access and the type of roles and the access that comes with those roles. I think if you're using the advanced version of QuickBooks Online, you get to build your custom roles there as well. So you kind of like in a tick box checklist sort of format, and you get to pick what type of access you do and don't want to give to those type of individuals. So you can create custom roles, okay? Um, I think there's area for improvement in this. Some of the more advanced reports require like full access, even though it might only be like a warehouse manager. So the warehouse manager nearly needs to see everything before he can get access to a stock report, for example. Okay, so there's some limitations, and it's just the calling out what those limitations are, and it's a case of just testing which roles and access is suitable for the type of person that is going to be using it. So some thought just needs to be put into who's going to be using QuickBooks, what main information, sorry, did they need to get from it, or what type of information are they going to be entering into it will decide what type of level of access that they need in QuickBooks in the first place.
Yeah, I'm going to show you where they are in a minute, but I just wanted to point out something that is always relevant. So some of the owners don't want people who work for them to know everything, or sometimes they don't want the accountant to know everything. And so when you're looking at the access, kind of, be there when they log in because, for instance, the bank account can be a sensitive one or money owed to the business. So many of these will appear on the homepage as soon as you open it. So if you restrict someone, say, to standard limited customers, does it or does it not show what's in the bank account? Okay, those are little considerations you may have. Okay, so just whatever tick in the box, test it. That's what I'm saying there.
So guys, just a reminder that the chat function is not working today, but if you do want to interact, use the Q&A. Richard Greeley has jumped in there. Kevin, brilliant, Richard. Revenue recognition joke was a good one. Kevin is now available for gigs. I believe Clifton is going to be his first venue of his summer tour. Tickets are free because God knows what you're going to get.
Because no one's going to pay for them. All right. Yeah, there's been those moments. Okay. Next one up, train yourself. Okay, so I'll go with that one. I mean, well, Clive would have been self-trained. I would have been self-trained. There's training on QuickBooks. It doesn't cost anything. Okay, that's the first thing. There's webinars there. Both of us separately and jointly have been asked to do them. If you go onto YouTube and you Google QuickBooks training, you might end up in England or America or Australia as well. But it's a pretty similar scene. Okay. Don't charge in and say, an awful lot of people think quick bookkeeping is easy. It's complex. That's what it is. And invest in yourself, no matter what it is. And if you've got people working for you or you're delegating items to them, spend the time there. You don't actually have to spend money. Like there is, like this webinar here will be up on YouTube within the month. Um, no one's charging on that. There's all this information there. It doesn't date that quick. It does date, but certainly I've at number 9 here. Often would should be number 1, but I kept it further down just to emphasize, the items we've just shot through. We see these issues nearly every time. Okay. I'll just throw in a quick one there, Clive. I had a guy who would have got 630 points in the leaving 5 or 6 years ago, qualified now, and he had set up his own QuickBooks. Everything was great. He had the wrong license. He had a license that didn't show a balance sheet. He had a limited company, and no one had pointed out to him. And we're well on here now. And he hired me just to fix up some of the problems we would have pointed out right then. And I said, "Well, you've actually got this other bigger issue. You're on the wrong yoke." And so he bought the cheapest thing when the cheapest thing was inappropriate for a limited company. So that's where that one is. Okay, and
Yeah, I
Clive,
think
we're at
the
number.
just on the training session, just add a piece in there, folks. Um, like bookkeeping is bookkeeping, yeah. And Kevin's right. The phrase is, bookkeeping is easy when you don't know how to do it, and it's hard when you do. So bookkeeping only comes down to three key areas: sales, purchasing, and banking. And when it comes to QuickBooks training, what you really want to figure out is how does QuickBooks do sales? How does QuickBooks do purchasing? And how does QuickBooks do banking? And when you figure out the logical flow in that, you then become a super user. And somebody in your business or your practice has got to be that super user who then can train. You can have lunch and work sessions and train the other team members and staff, or you can record Loom videos and instruction manuals and SOPs and have them in your own library of resources for training in there. So there is ways of doing it.
Okay. And just while we're on that, just Richard Greeley's comment reminded me of something as well. I remember a few years ago, this daughter took over the business from the mother, and it was a retail shop. So the daughter was kind of getting to grips with things. Anyway, she obviously didn't send in a VAT return. And so she opened up one Thursday morning, and there was a car outside with three guys in it. Okay, just parked outside, right outside the door, facing in. So she opens up the shop. It's about 10 a.m. and she's kind of afraid to open the door, you know? And so she calls the mother and said, "Would you come down here? I don't know, we're going to be robbed or something." So they look out and the three dudes are sitting in the car. So anyway, they call the guards. The squad car pulls up, straight in, up, and then another squad goes up the other side of the street and they get the three guys out of the car. It was the revenue sheriff. She hadn't sent in the VAT return and there was a warrant somewhere. And they arrested the three buckos, for intimidating a young female business owner. It was a great one, went round, so there you are. Revenue recognition. Anyway,
So
move on.
so Ke so Kevin, that's not professional advice to call the guards and the revenue sheriff, right? For intimidation.
Well, they didn't do it again anyway, so that's how it goes. Where was I? Train yourself. Correct license choice. One of your favorites.
Yes. Yeah, this is really important. God knows how many times we see people on the wrong type of license for the requirements that they need. I can't even remember what the bottom one is called. Is it Simple Start? Yeah,
Yeah,
QuickBooks Simple Start. It's so bad. Just please discount it altogether from your decision making. We don't even try and offer it anymore to anybody because it's not at the races. Uh,
shocker.
yeah, essentials is where I would start for really basic sole traders startups. Plus is kind of where you want to be. It's got all the bells and whistles you need to run your business really well. And it gives you really good reports and numbers in there as well. So, and even simple things like having multi-currency, back to the stock, tracking your stock. And if you really want to
Those are
supercharge
the
your
three.
bookkeeping, yeah, you got to bring it up into advanced because I like advanced. You have tasks in there. So advanced is ideal when you've like, I think it can have up to 25 people, users in advance and up to like five accountants or bookkeepers, right? So advanced is brilliant because you can create tasks and you can automate tasks and set them to schedule. So you might have somebody who does customer statements once a month. You set up a task that John, he has to run the customer statements on the second of every month for the previous month. And then he can tick it off as a job being done. You get to monitor the tasks that are done and more importantly, the ones that are not done. So so Plus is really good for bookkeeping and some deeper insights and analytics. Advanced takes it to the next stage where it does kind of workflows and task management for a larger team. And for the price, it's for peanuts. It really is.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'm going to go over to QuickBooks very quickly for a second. Can you see the screen there, Clive? Can you see the QuickBooks screen? Yeah? No?
Yes, there it is.
Okay. So I'll just belt down where these are just so you know. And I'm going to do a little promo. There's nothing in it for me and Clive, all right? This thing right tool, done by a super guy in America called Hector Garcia. If you Google writetool.com, it's a free, it's shortcuts everywhere, and there's a few extra tools that don't cost a penny, okay? Just going to get it in out of the way. The chart of accounts, there's always two ways. I'll show you one way for each of these just for time limitation. I clicked on accounting at the top there. Chart of accounts is here. And depending on the type of business you are, just look down through it and put in what's relevant to your business. So if you're buying building materials, put in building materials. If you're paying loads of subcontractors, put in that. If you're buying in, you know, shops, uh, contents, cards, sweets, all that type of thing, put that type of thing in. For instance, there's three insurances on it. You know, you only need one, and to get rid of it, you can click. We won't go through how you do all this today. Many of you may already know it, but effectively, you want to design. It's like designing, in a way, your house, but you're actually designing your business. The captions you want to see, put them in here. They will end up in the reports later on that you might want to know about. Okay, I'll just tick the home. We're actually on the advanced plus version here. Just while we're on banking, the banking will come up here on the right. And to connect any of the banking, funnily enough, often the easiest way, it'll prompt you anyway, but often the easiest way is, strange enough, back in that famous chart of accounts again. I'll just bring up one of the bank items here at the top. They'll always be at the top, so I'm zooming up to it there. Business bank account. If you click here, you'll have link account. And that's often, funny enough, the easiest way to find your way in, you know? And but it'll prompt you anyway. You need to go into banking throughout. The VAT, I'm going to click on the word simple. It's in only button that's in red. There's just kind of hypothetical numbers we've in here. But this edit VAT button is where I mentioned about whether accrual or cash basis in there or all the rates in here. So there's all these rates. I've trimmed them down just for the purposes of this. If I click include inactive, you're going to see a load that I've knocked out. 25 of them. Crikey, more than I thought. So there's loads of them you won't need or anything like that. Clive, you do the talking. I'll bring them to the sales invoices now. I'm clicking this little cog on the top right. It's often referred to as the gear icon. Clive, you can take over the chat if you like there, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. So you're going into custom form styles, is it?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and in here then we click on edit. There's always a standard template for your sales invoices that you can use, okay? And we got three tabs here, so it's all about setting up the design, the content, as in the look and the feel of what you want in it. Okay, so you got a number of templates that you can use. You can pick one which one is relevant to you. Again, as I said before, I don't get really hung up on the look of it, and more importantly is the content that's in it. So you can add in your logo, pick up your color, add in some of your information, such as your bank details. Okay, Kevin's going to upload a picture of himself, no doubt.
No doubt.
Okay, maybe
And
maybe not. But Kevin, if you go back up to the top there and click on the content tab, that's the important bit, okay? And then what you can do, guys, is the right hand side preview then is selected. See, there's a top, middle, and bottom, okay? You click on the top, you can edit the details in each of the fields. They're very customizable. And then Kevin, as you scroll down on the left hand side, you're going to come to the columns. Where's the columns? Oh, no,
there's
sorry.
the
Yeah.
columns are in the middle one.
Yeah. Sorry. No, yeah. Come to that bit. If you click on the middle one for a second, Kevin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
brilliant.
here
You
are the
scroll down.
columns, yeah.
Yeah. So you click on edit labels and widths. It does allow you to change the name on the header bit of each of the columns, which is what I like. People have always asked me, can I just change what the description is on the columns? You can. You can change the width and all of that sort of jazz. You can move them around. You can move them left and right and things like that. So from that point of view, it's highly customizable. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that you have a means of sending sales invoices out in a very efficient way and not holding up the business at all. I think that's the most important thing.
Very good. I
Um,
click done there now. It's going to churn away. The Dext, if this comes back to itself now, oh, here we are. The apps, okay. There's bank transactions offering itself again there now. I'm just going to the navigation board at the top. Apps here. I don't know, is there anything attached to this one? But anything that is integrated, yeah, we actually had Dext here. Okay. But see here, explore integrations. Okay. And it'll offer different ones you can integrate in here. just be aware what's in there. Some of them, for instance, Shopify, all these websites can be very handy, but the app that we're kind of big into is Dext. AutoHub is excellent as well. And now we've tried Apron, great bunch of lads, going places. It didn't work well for me here in Ireland. We put 60 people on it, we took 60 people off it. But you may see their name there in the next while because they are working hard at it.
Yeah.
Okay. The reports area. Just watch the time
I,
there, Clive. So I've just picked reports as standard. You see this green little button? Keeps a few at the top. I'll just pick one here, puts them up there. The ones you like the most, put them up here. And if you design them a bit and you do something with them, such as profit and loss, and this will probably come up with the last month or this month to date automatic. If you like, I'll just go with what comes up here. Let's go around in circles like you were last Saturday night, Clive. The Here we are now. So this is June 26th. So yeah, last month has come up. But if you save it and you can share the port with no one or with everybody, I'll go with everybody. I'll just go with June for some reason. That's going to be one we need to look at. Save, so the ones you like and you save them like that, they'll now be in here in the custom reports area. For the
yeah. And
reports,
Kevin, your customer reports, you can schedule them to fire off at a particular time now.
you
So,
can, yeah, that's on here. Create
yeah,
a
you create a
schedule.
schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as because I have a couple of clients who we send a debtors listing to on a Friday at 11 o'clock, which is brilliant because at a quarter to 11, I have to make sure I've matched up all the customer receipts.
Very good. Access in behind the cog. Manage users. Now, it depends on the license, what the amount of offerings you'll have on this. On the Plus license, you'll have quite a few. So if it'll jump up at me here, users, let's see who's on here now. I put in a few hypothetical things there. Oh, it's struggling. There could be a gang.
Just when you're waiting on that, Kevin, there's a question that's come in from John Malloy.
All right.
John has asked, what is your experience with API use for EPOS systems, please? So my answer to that is uh, the there is some EPOS systems that integrate natively with QuickBooks, and they're excellent. Majority of them are. Some of them are better than others. What I mean by that is some of them have a very detailed integration and mapping. So, for example, EPOS Now have a paid additional integration, but their API is very, very detailed. Okay. There is other EPOS systems where they will just send across the end of day totals and they hit a sales ledger and that's it. If you don't have a native integration between an EPOS system and QuickBooks, there are sometimes these connectors as well. And what you need to do is you need to test and find out which is the best connector to use between that EPOS system and QuickBooks. Some of them are better than others. And in some cases, what I've done with our retail clients is we said to them, look at that EPOS till you have doesn't speak very well to QuickBooks or to any other kind of bookkeeping system. We actually recommend you change it to this type of an EPOS system if you want to get real-time numbers on your sales and you want to get more details like sales by customer, sales by product, sales by hour, sales by location, those sort of things actually requires the client to make an investment in the right hardware and the software in order to match up or talk to the likes of QuickBooks and so on and so forth. So, John, it actually requires a lot of testing in that. Alrighty.
Well, that was a great answer, Clive. But if this was like a World Cup match and it was half time, the second half would be 10 minutes in by now. You gotta work on that.
Well, you know what?
Would have
Trying to
missed
think of
two
the name of that
goals.
footballer. What's his name?
Anyway,
So you
while you're thinking of his name, I'm going to show people about training, okay? Which was the next thing on there. I'm afraid to ask you another question now. Okay, so The training. Okay, so just on the QuickBooks homepage, even for a start, learn and support, free, 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 very good. And you click on learn and support. In behind that, we see the click in there. There's loads of on-demand webinars, free training, and oh, here we are now, jumping in. Okay, and there's all this nice stuff about learning QuickBooks. Doesn't cost a penny. You can get certified even. The exam is out of date in Ireland, but give it a shot. If you get it, great. Get started. You'll see Clive on there. You might see me on there. You see some really good other people that might be better than us. And but certainly browse it. Okay. And the license area is on here. It's all, check out this website anyway. But what you'll see on the licenses, don't go for simple start. It's no good. But the ones to go for are the ones that we're mentioning there, Essentials Plus and Advanced. Those are the ones, okay? And you'll fly it then, okay? Um, Clive, you got 60 seconds. Live question and answers. Have you any more from anyone there?
No, guys, if you have any particular questions you want answered, now is the time to chuck them into the Q&A box, and I'll be happy to answer them. Or else, yeah, if there's an opportunity to answer them offline, we can take them away as well. I think we're in a very good space. I think in QuickBooks as well, they've introduced a number of different AI agents. I think these agents are actually doing a really good job. I tested it there recently. I said, tell me what the top 10 suppliers is for the last 3 months in terms of bills, and it was able to tell me that. And I was like, give me analysis of what type of category, expense category that is. So I think it's great for us as like accountants and bookkeepers. The challenge is to tell clients to you know, ask the right questions to get information, but double check with the accountant and bookkeeper that that information is correct and not just solely depending on what the AI answer. So it's all heading in the right direction. I think there's ample opportunity here for people who are using QuickBooks to level up with integrations, with reports, and especially with as this webinar is about, all of that is all based on the foundations of setting up QuickBooks properly in the first place and doing the training and following Kevin's 10 steps there today.
Yeah, so there's a free setup checklist. I'm going to send it to everybody who attended today, and you'll have that before the end of the week. So give a go. There's always something to work on, and if you need us, you know where we are. Okay? Thanks very much for attending. You'll grab a bit of lunch now. Clive, enjoy the rest of the South of France.
Absolutely, just about to whip on the T-bone steaks onto the barbecue, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks very much, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye bye.